breathe purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors? Now, time for the most in-depth look at the world of ECU athletics. Welcome in to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Now, here's your host, Stephen Igo.
Welcome in to Hoist the Colors on a Thursday, February 13th, the day before opening day, the day before Valentine's Day. Make sure you have your plans ready, gentlemen. If you're ready for some baseball, also make sure your significant other is accounted for as well as we head into the weekend. Ready for some baseball. We don't have any official news yet on a potential schedule change. We'll keep you updated if that news becomes available. Obviously, a lot of rain in the forecast. Rain coming down now around Greenville. Rain expected into Saturday and Sunday. Not the best weekend weather-wise, but at least baseball is expected back, so we'll keep you up to date there and any other potential breaking news. We're live on YouTube and Facebook. If you got a question, comment, concern, drop it there. We're still looking into our X situation. Our software has removed the ability to stream to Twitter, so we dropped our links to YouTube and Facebook on Twitter, so you can hop on those links as well. We'll try to get that situated here in the coming days. It is going to be a baseball-heavy edition of the show. We're going to make some over-under picks, make some predictions for the upcoming season. Different predictions that we made on the Hoist the Colors podcast with the Bucks on the Pond crew recently, so different picks, different situations. Looking forward to the show. And then we also have to continue our baseball roster rundown. Any questions you guys have, we'll get to those as well. Philip Pilkington back in the 94.3 The Game studios. Philip, how you doing on this Thursday? We're almost to baseball season, baby.
We're almost to baseball. Team USA has a hockey game tonight in the Four Nations Tournament, repping my 1980 Mike Eruzione USA hockey jersey. So I'm pumped up to be patriotic tonight and watch America's pastime tomorrow. College baseball is here, baby, and I'm excited. There will be games going on 24 hours from now. It won't be going on in Greenville. Well, for all we know, it could be going on in Greenville 24 hours from now. But there are games scheduled as early as, I think, 11:30 tomorrow. So I'm pumped up, baby. It's college baseball season. Now if we can just get Mother Nature to cooperate.
You just knew when we had warm weather last weekend that this meant it was going to be sloppy, cold, rainy for opening day, and here we are. By the way, congrats on the Alex Bregman signing. I see you're wearing your Boston Red Sox hat, so we don't have too much time to dive into it, but at least one of our teams is willing to spend some money in free agency.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about it. Dom texted me late last night. Obviously, he's played third throughout most of his career. We've got Devers. So according to Dom and all the people who actually know what they're talking about, but I do, Dom usually knows what he's talking about. It looks like he's going to play second, move Story back to his natural position at short. So appreciate the congratulations. I'm excited. That's part of the reason I'm wearing it. The other part is it's the USA Red Sox hat. So I'm repping America today.
Repping America. I'm repping Nikola Jokic and Joker as the Nuggets have won 8 in a row heading to the All-Star break. Jamal Murray dropped 55 last night.
That's one bad man. It gets better and better as the season goes on. He starts out the year as just like he's always out of shape. Yeah, I mean he's better than a role player, but he's no star. And then by the playoffs, he's the best player on the team.
He's rounding into to playoff Murray, that's for sure. All right. We're going to talk a lot of ECU baseball. We'll dive right into it to make sure we have enough time to get through as much as we can. So here's how we're going to do this. If you missed our Bucks on the Pond show on Monday night, then you can go back and listen to that. We made a lot of picks and you know, who will lead the team in home runs, who will lead the team in stolen bases, all that sort of stuff. This is going to be more of a over-under segment along with a few predictions as well. And then towards the end, we'll kind of get our picks on what we think ECU does this year as far as postseason seeding, potentially hosting regional, all that sort of stuff. So we're going to dive right into this. And I had to start with a fun one, Philip Pilkington. And I did add numbers for the last few years so we have some context here and it's not just out of the blue because some of this can be difficult. So our first over-under is ECU sacrifice bunts. We know ECU loves to bunt, and this is Cliff Godwin. Cliff Ball. For context, ECU in 2023 had 37 sack bunts. This is not attempts. This is actual sack bunts. And last season had 46 sacrificed bunts during the 2024 season. This year, I'm setting the number at 43.5 sack bunts executed over or under Philip Pilkington.
You don't sack bunt when you're up 17-1. I think there will be less games due to the filling out process where this team is up 17-1. You also have a few like tougher out of conference opponents as you have that weekend series against Coastal. I'm hammering the over, baby. We're hitting easy 50 sack bunts. 56 games in a college baseball season. There will be one a game on average. Give me the over.
Philip Pilkington going with the over. I think I'm going over as well, just for the same reasons you mentioned, like young team. Even for the Friday game for George Mason, like the season opener, if they get a leadoff man on in the first or second inning, I'm expecting some cliff ball. I'm expecting some sack bunts to kind of set the tone, ease the tension. I think you're going to see that a lot early this year, and I think we're going to see a lot of sack bunts. And they work on it every day at practice. They work on it every inning to start a scrimmage for a reason. And I think we'll get over. I'm gonna go mid to upper 40s. I don't know if they'll hit that 50 number, but I'll go over.
Is there any other radio station in the country right now doing their preseason baseball predictions? Sack bunt is a category.
No shot. But I had to lead with it just to get it started on the right foot.
You have to.
This is ECU baseball.
It is.
All right. Highest batting average on the team. I'm setting the over-under at 350. So basically, will anybody on the team hit over 350? Carter Cunningham last year hit 367 to lead the Pirates. Two others hit 346, and so they were right around that 350 mark. So over under, will the highest batting average on the team be over or under 350, Philip?
I think the bionic man will go over. The man with all the shoulder operations. He's fast enough to dig out some infield singles. He won't sack a bunt as much because he's going to be at the top of the lineup. Riley Johnson hits 367 this year. Give me the over.
Philip Pilkington going with the over. Riley's a good pick. I'm torn on this one. I think Dixon and Riley or Riley could both get there. I'm going to go under, though. I think you're going to have a few guys hit in the 340 range to 330, and nobody quite gets to 350. So I'm going to go under here and settle with that. But I think this one's a tough call. All right, next category. This is an individual over-under. Dixon William home runs over-under 12.5. He hit 9 last season in really his first full year as a starter. Has shown a lot of power in scrimmages. Will he hit over/under 12.5 home runs as a second-year starter, Philip?
I will. I think he's gotten a little bit bigger, just by looking at him in street clothes. I think he's focused a little bit more on that power this year. I think last year the whole jump from freshman to sophomore year was, hey, just learning how to be an everyday college baseball hitter. It's different than being an everyday high school baseball hitter, and he proved he can do that with a high average a year ago, and I think the power will follow this year. I think he's up in that 14-15 range, so I'm going over.
All right, I'm going over as well. I think he hits 13 on the dot. I think he's definitely a line drive hitter, but I think he'll get a little bit more elevation this year. So you said 14-15. That kind of gives me where you're leaning for this next one. So team leading individual home run total, I set it at 13.5. Last year, Carter Cunningham hit 17, Will Coxon 14, Jacob Jenkins Cowart hit 13. So you're going over, I assume, with the Dixon prediction?
I am. I think he hits over this, and I think Alex Boucher hits about 15 or 17 as well.
So Philip is a believer in the power. I'm going over as well. I think somebody will get 14. It might be Dixon, even though I have him at 13. I'll just go over. But ECU this year from a power perspective, and so we'll go ahead to our next home run category. I know I listed steals, which we'll go back to in a minute. Team home run total, I set it at 73.5. Last year, ECU hit 85, but Philip, 70 of those home runs are gone. 70. So you've got 15 returning home runs from last season. Will ECU go over or under 73.5 total home runs as a team?
I'm going no. I think Dixon's at the 15-ish number. I think Boucher is at the 15 or 16 number, and I think the rest of the roster probably combines for about 30. outside of those two. So I'm thinking 60 to 62 in a 56 game series season is about right. So I'm going under, and I'm going to go significantly under. I think it's under by anywhere from 5 to 10.
All right. Phillips in on the under 73.5. That will be significantly less than last year's 85. Home runs are going up across college baseball. Is ECU going to continue with that trend? I think you're going to have a lot of, like you said, like 5 to 8 home run guys on this team. It's just a matter of, do you get enough, and do you get that Dixon Williams, Alex Boucher big number or two to prop it up? I'm going to go. I'm going over. I'm gonna say ECU hits 74 home runs as a team. So I'm gonna go slightly over. All right, let's go back to steals. Riley Johnson stole 23 bases in 63 games last season. He stole 23 in 26 attempts. If he would have been perfect, he would have been over this number. I have the Riley Johnson steals meter at 25.5 over under steals on the season. Phillip?
I'm going to go under, and the reason I'm going under is because he's going to have more extra base hits this year than he did a year ago. Again, the shoulders are fixed. He can swing a lot harder. Yes, he's going to beat out some infield singles, but I don't see him hitting a lot of little lazy singles to the outfield. He's going to put the ball in the gap. He's going to put the ball down the line. He's going to place the ball where he wants to, and with his speed, he's going to leg out some doubles. That's going to make that steal number drop.
25.5, that's a lot of steals in college. I think he's going to be in the mid-20s. It's just a matter of whether he gets there or not. And I'm going to go, I think schedule being a little bit more difficult this year, you're not going to have as many easy steals. So I'm going to go slightly under 23 to 24 steals. I think he'll be right around last year's number. So I'm going to go slightly under. Under for steals, Riley Johnson. All right. Will any other ECU player have more than 9.5 steals? Johnson was the only double-digit guy to steal double-digit bases last year. So, do you think anybody else gets to 10 or more this year, Phillip?
Somebody does. It's going to be one of these young corner outfielders. I don't know who, but, we were talking to Riley at Media Day just about the speed of some of these young guys. I don't know who, but I think somebody gets to 10 or 11. I'm going to go over. Or yes. I guess is this yes or no?
Yeah, yes or no.
It's a yes or no, so I'm going yes.
Peltier, I think if he plays enough, he'll get there, and I expect him to open the year as a starting corner outfielder, and then it's just a matter of does he hang on that position, because if he does, I think he gets there. If it ends up being like Keenan Bowman or Davin Whitaker, they could get there, but it's not going to be as much of a slam dunk. So I am going to go with a yes, and in this category, just because I think Peltier is going to end up being the guy or being a guy in the corner outfield. So Riley Johnson, I think, said he was the only guy who could beat him in a foot race at Media Day. So I'm going to go with him. Robert Matthews in the chat saying it's a shame we can't get a play-by-play guy. Bring back Corey Glore. Robert, did you watch our show yesterday? We interviewed the new play-by-play guy, Dylan Johnson. So that is there is a play-by-play guy, and that's his name. So get used to hearing his pipes this season on 94.3 The Game. All right, our next category here, we'll get a few more in before the break. Which freshman position player will start the most games? So this is a player answer. And really, you kind of have 3 names that we really know. I guess you could go with a redshirt freshman. So we can count Keenan Bowman in this. But, we know Braxton Trammell is a candidate to start at third base and left field. We know Austin Irby is a candidate to start at first base and DH, and we know Alex Peltier is a candidate to start in the outfield. You could even go Braden Burris, who probably could start anywhere on the infield. Really, any thoughts here, Phillip? Who are you going with?
I think the Colby Wallace factor hurts both infielders from winning this. Now, like you said, Trammell can start infield, outfield, but I'm going to say. This is going to be really bad because I can't even say his name. I still don't know if it's Peltier or Peltier, and I'm picking him.
I don't either.
That Peltier/Peltier will start 53 of the 56 ECU baseball games this year in the outfield.
I like it. Phillip is all in on Peltier, and I promise you guys, we'll figure out by the end of this weekend, by Monday's show, we will know how to pronounce his name. We'll see if we can figure it out. All right. pitching. I tell you what. Before we get to pitching category, let's
Well,
go
who
ahead
are
and
you
take a
picking?
break.
You got to pick.
Oh, I got to
somebody.
make a pick here. I guess I made the pick in my head without saying it. I'm going Braxton Trammell. I think switch hitter, position flexibility. That brings a lot of value to the lineup. You know, you could when you're a switch hitter, you can kind of slot in anywhere. When you're a guy who can play multiple positions, he could even DH. I think he's going to start a lot of games, and I'll go with him. I'm torn between him and Austin Irby, but I think with Trammell, you get a little bit more flexibility. So I'll go with Braxton Trammell being the freshman
You're gonna
position
be right.
player.
You're gonna be right over me. It's gonna happen because he's gonna DH, but I gotta be different.
We'll see. Yeah, got to be different. I mean, we already know that there's a few people that watch the show that want us to not make the same picks based upon our podcast. They were getting mad. We kept making the same picks. So on Monday night. All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, we'll have our pitching categories. We also will get to our team win total. How many wins do we think the Pirates will finish with? We also have got our roster rundown as well to do. On this edition of Hoist the Colors, we'll be right back after this.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
The Coastal Conservation Association is an organization of saltwater anglers whose goal is to protect marine resources statewide and nationally. We're working to improve saltwater fishing for recreational fishermen. From the Gulf to the North Atlantic, our chapters are the watchdogs of the saltwater fishing industry, working in partnership with state wildlife and fish agencies. Our coastal waters are valuable natural resources that must be protected. Call your local CCA chapter today.
Climb aboard as we set sail and hoist the colors.
Arr, matey!
Back to the show with Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors. Thursday, February 13th, 1 day away from opening day. ECU set to take on George Mason this weekend. Excited about that. Kick off a long season, but a fun season of Pirate baseball. We're making our over-under selections along with some player picks. We'll have a prediction as well on the coming season here in a little bit. Philip Pilkington back in the 94.3 The Game studio. Steve and I go here. And we just made several position player picks. Let's get into some pitching picks as well, which, by the way, I do want to mention Robert Matthews with a comment. He hopes Austin Irby plays a lot. Can't wait to hear Tom Sawyer when he comes to the plate. It's a great walk-up song for sure. All right, pitching predictions. Philip, pitching wins. I had a tough time with a lot of this because there's just so much unknown. Pitching wins, I set the over-under for individual pitching wins at 8.5. Will anybody go over or under that mark? For context, last year, Trey Savage went 11-1. He had 11. Danny Bill, who had 35 appearances, he had 8 wins. And so I'm setting the over-under at 8.5. What's your prediction here?
Going under. I think there's going to be a lot of middle relievers that come in and throw the 5th inning, because I think a lot of our starters are only going to be 4 to 5 inning guys, and there'll be a lot of middle relievers who might not even be great pitchers. They're just going to be bullpen depth guys that end up with like 3 wins here, 4 wins there, and that keeps one particular guy from having too many. So I'm going to go under.
Good thoughts for sure. I'm going to go under as well. I think you're going to see a couple guys with 7, 8 wins, but to have a Trey Savage, somebody get double digits, it's just going to be tough. So I'm going to go under as well with 8. So, all right, our next category, Sean Jenkins innings pitched. So Sean Jenkins is the 17-year-old freshman. For added context here, I have the over-under at 70 innings pitched. He is a projected Saturday starter to begin with. The last 2 years in high school, he has thrown 60-plus innings each of those 2 years. Now, last season, Trey Savage threw 93 in the 3rd inning, which led the team. Danny Bill threw 72 out of the bullpen, which was second. Zach Root threw 68. He also missed a handful of starts, so you have to keep that in mind. So I'm setting the over-under at 70. At some point, Philip, I kind of wrote that the staff may look at trying to give him, if he stays in the rotation, you almost have to give him a week off, or I don't know. You have to manage his workload as a 17-year-old. So this one I have a little bit of trouble with. Any gut feeling here one way or the other?
There are 16 weekends in college baseball, right?
I think that is correct.
So if there's 16 weeks in college baseball and we're asking for 70, that is 4-point-something innings. So between roughly 4.5 innings a week. I don't think he hits 4.5 a week. I think due to load management, there's going to be a week maybe that he's down, and I think there might be a couple 3-inning outings, even if he's in the rotation, and even if he's not pitching bad. I could see, just one of those things where, hey, he runs his pitch count up a little bit, we're scoring a lot of runs, want to work in some of this bullpen, want to save him, and they manage him. So I think he's down around the 4 innings a week average. He'll have a 5 or a 6 here or there, but yeah, I think he's at about 64 innings, 66 innings, something like that.
Yeah, 70 is a lot for a freshman. It's a lot for any college pitcher. But I just have a feeling he's going to be in the rotation most of the year, and I think he just hits over this number. I'm going to go over 70 innings pitched, just over for Sean Jenkins. But I think he's going to be right around there if he stays healthy and in the rotation. All right, saves leader, over under 4.5 saves for your saves leader this season. Last season, Wyatt Lunsford-Shinkman led the team with 5. Then you had 7 different players overall accounted for 15 saves. So does the saves leader on this year's team, Philip, have over under 4.5 saves?
Under. I think baseball is transitioning to high leverage guys, not closers. Now, your high leverage guy could have some close opportunities, but I think the saves will be very evenly distributed. And also, I think we're probably going to win a few less games than we won last year, so you can't save a game that you don't win. I'm going under.
Yeah, I have a tough one with this too, which I guess is why I set the over-under there. I'm going to say somebody gets to 5. So give me the over, whether it's Ethan Young, whether it's Ethan Norby going back to the bullpen, whether it's Jackson DiLorenzo. I think somebody will get to a handful one way or the other, but it'll be towards the end of the season. So I'm going to go over. All right, who will have the most pitching appearances? And this is just a name answer that we need, not an over-under. So this is kind of a shot in the dark. Who's going to be the most used guy out of the bullpen? Danny Bill had 35 appearances last season. And so do we think, will another Danny Bill emerge? Will it be even across the board? Who do you think has the most pitching appearances, Philip?
When we get healthy in March, Norby will move to the bullpen. Norby will be the high-leverage guy. We'll see him twice a week minimum. Give me Ethan Norby.
I am going with Ethan Norby as well. I think he ultimately becomes that bullpen stopper the Pirates need. It's just a matter of when does that happen. Hopefully March makes sense with, Ryan Towers and Brett and Tollett coming back at that point. All right, team high appearances, I'm setting it at 30.5. So we both think Ethan Norby is going to lead the team in appearances. Do we think he's going to be over 30.5? Danny Bill, 35 appearances last season. Eric Ritchie had 28. Do we think Norby or anybody goes above 30.5 appearances?
No, because of Ethan starting the season in the rotation, I think, through the first 5 weeks, he's got 5 appearances, and therefore that keeps that number down before he moves to the pen. So I think we'll look up in March and we'll be like, no way this guy leads the team in appearances, and then he does by the end of the year, and he ends up in like the that's 11 more weeks where he averages 2 a week on the back end, maybe 2.5 a week. So that would be, 25 plus the 5 starts probably to start the year. So I think he's like right at 30 appearances, probably 29 or 30.
Yeah, I'm going to go under as well. I think for the same reasoning, I feel like Norby will just be under there. But maybe a new Danny Bill will emerge, and that person will go over as well. All right, Colby Wallace pitching appearances. I set the over-under at 15.5. He is a full-time position player, and so that makes it difficult. He did have 5 appearances last season on the mound in a very short stint towards the end of the year. But it was kind of like desperation mode because ECU was so taxed on the pitching staff front. So Colby Wallace pitching appearances over under 15.5, Philip.
I'm going to go over. Again, I'm basing a lot of these just kind of based off injuries, and I think early in the season they're going to use them maybe a little more than they want to, but they feel better about their depth at third base than they do their depth on the mound early in the season because, knock on wood, there's no injuries at third base right now. There are injuries on the mound that will have him moving to the mound a little more often, and I think he's up in that 17-18 range just due to some early numbers.
Yeah, a lot of this depends on the rest of the pitching staff. Do other options emerge to begin the year? Because I think just because of his experience and him and Jackson DiLorenzo, those guys are going to pitch early out of the pen just because they've done it before. And then do other options emerge after that or shortly after that? Does it take a while? I think a lot will be dictated upon that. I'm going to go over as well. I think he gets into that 16, 17, 18 range, but I could see also a year where he only has 10 appearances depending on how the pitching staff develops around him. All right. Will an ECU pitcher throw a complete game? Last year, Trey Savage threw 1. I think that was even the shortened 7-inning game, which we will still count as a complete game. But will an ECU pitcher throw a complete game this season?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if it is, like you said, it'll be a shortened game situation, and those have asterisks next to it. I don't think anybody goes 9. I don't even know if we'll have a guy. I mean, you might have a guy go out there and it's like, hey, we need to save some dudes, and you just kind of waste them, and he goes 7, and you blow somebody out. That's the reason you waste them, because you're up 22-3 kind of thing. But I think that's the only way it happens, so I'm going no.
I am going no as well. I just think the art of the complete game has not disappeared, but become very tough to come by because of pitch count, the way batters get into the box and compete at the college level. I mean, it's hard to go out there and throw a complete game unless, like Philip said, you're just willing to expand a guy 120 to 130 pitches. It just doesn't happen a lot, so I'm going no. All right, our final category, at least on our sheet, we've got a few submissions from the crowd as well. Team win total, I set it at 40.5. ECU not picked to finish in the top 25 this season. Here are the records for Cliff Goblin the last 6 years. 44-18, 47-18, 44-17, 46-21, 47-19, 46-17. 6 straight seasons of 40-plus wins, well over 40 wins, Philip. Does this year's ECU team get to over under 40.5?
Don't stone me. No. With the conference tournament and stuff, yes. I think they're at the 38-39 win range. I think the LeClaire Classic field is good. I think Coastal's a good team. I think we're going to struggle against Carolina just due to how early in the season it is and our amount of injuries on the mound. And we play more conference road games than we do conference home games this year, just due to there being, an even number of teams in the conference. Obviously, you don't play yourself. So we have, I think it's, 4 away conference series or 5 away and 4
5
home.
away.
Yeah, and a lot of those are to that central time zone. We got to go to Wichita, got to go to Rice, I believe.
Correct.
I think there's going to be 2 conference series that they lose. Now, one of those is at Charlotte, which is at home, a close game. But I think there's 2 conference series that they go 2-1 or 1-2 in. And they end up with like 38-39 wins.
I've got them at 38-18. Technically speaking, I had them at 38-17 with 1 canceled game. That was my official prediction.
That'll happen.
And I have it as a 2 seed somewhere. For the record, I think they do get over 40 wins if you count the postseason, but I guess we're doing regular season here, so we'll go under.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I based all these off of was 56 games. Because if not, I want to change a lot of my unders to overs with how many games you have to play in this stupid conference tournament because this conference has got idiots making decisions, having you play 14 conference games in 6 days or whatever the heck it is.
All right, so we're both on the under for regular season wins, and I think ECU has gotten to 40 wins every regular season over the past 6 years. So Pirates will probably prove us wrong yet again, but hey. We did have a few submissions from the crowd. Hunter Corbett wants our over-under on Cliff Godwin's ejections this season. All right, so he's definitely going to get 1, so we're going 1.5. I feel like that's a fair number. I'm going to go under this year. I think he gets ejected 1 time, Philip, and that's it.
So last year, he and Clip were going at it at Media Day, and I think Clip set the over-under at 2.5, I think. And
I think that's just too many. Yeah. 2.5 is too many. It's hard to get 3 ejections in 1 year.
I mean, if you want to, because a lot of times he gets ejected, he's trying to
100%.
get the team fired up. But you know what? Due to the closeness of the games this year, if you're setting it at 1.5, I'm going to go he gets twice. I think just there's going to be some times these boys need a fire lit under their rear end, and he'll be willing to pay the fine. Even though I think he's mellowed out a lot, and overall he's less intense than he used to be, I think it's just a decision more than a natural thing, just to, again, light a fire under him. So I'm going 2.
Hunter Corbett also wants us to make our prediction on the amount of doubleheaders this season. How many doubleheaders will the Pirates have?
Ooh.
I'm going to go 4.
They're at least having one this weekend. We really, it's not like off the record information. I don't know, but like, let's be honest. They're going to play Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday. Let's just be honest here.
Unless they only want to play 2 games.
That could happen. I'll go 3, just to be different. I'll believe that Mother Nature owes us a little bit after the crap she put us through last year, because last year was one of the worst. So Mother Nature, have mercy on the ECU baseball program and give us under 4, please.
Please. Doubleheaders are the worst. Jonathan Wagner says over under 1.5 ECU games watched by the Bucks on the Pond crew in a hotel room as we potentially travel to an MLB ballpark. Yeah, last year we watched the Dixon Williams walk-off slide from a hotel room as we were going to see the Mariners and Nationals play. So I'm going to go under, Jonathan, but there's a chance we see 1. I don't know if you have a care to make a prediction here.
I'm going to go under because you guys don't have the trip planned yet.
We don't.
And it's February, so I'm guessing the trip will happen in the summer months this year. I think you guys go in July, so I think it's 0. So, but I'm going to set an over-under for my own here that we haven't talked about. Over-under 1.5 Wags appearances in the press box. I have your media passes here, Wags. I picked them up for you the other day in Chip's office. How many times will Wags make an appearance? And make an appearance does not mean walking through, shaking hands, and then dipping out. No, sit in the press box for the whole game. Wags over-under 1.5.
I'm going under. I know that he's expected to make an appearance Friday in the press box. I think that'll be the only appearance he makes in the press box all season. And I'm challenging him by this prediction, but I'm going under.
I'm with you. I'm going under. Prove us wrong, Wags, or I will personally make sure Chip does not give you a media pass next year if you don't at least make it to 2. I'll go say that I'm picking it up for you, and I'll rip it up and throw it away if you don't make it to 2 this year.
There you go. You've been challenged, Wags. All right, a few more things. We'll get to break. Quickly, Robert Matthews says, if you talked about it yesterday, forgive me, but do you have any information on the Ryan Towers injury? So Ryan Towers is, I would say, day-to-day, week-to-week right now with arm soreness. The MRI came back clean, no damage, so he should be fine. They're just being extra careful with him. He is expected to begin throwing in the next week or so. Should be back come March if with no further complications. And Casey Ramaley said, couldn't Colby Wallace play first to save his arm? That is a possibility, Casey. In fact, I'm doing my lineup prediction for tomorrow, which I'll have up on hoistthecolors.net later. I do have Colby Wallace projected to open the season as the first baseman. He could play third or first, but Braxton Trammell can play third as well. So you could see Colby at either spot. All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, we'll get to any more of your questions. Also got a stat from Johnny Robertson I need to read, and we will continue our ECU baseball roster rundown after this. This is Hoist the Colors on a Thursday.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Looking for a great deal on a new Nissan?
At Greenville Nissan, we've got a great selection of new Nissans for under $30,000.
The stylish Nissan Sentra, offering top-notch fuel economy. The Nissan Altima, known for its comfort and technology.
The Nissan Kicks, the perfect combination with its compact design and performance. The Nissan Versa, delivering incredible value without compromising on features. And don't forget the Nissan Rogue, an award winner for 10 years in a row. Drive it home just for $22 down and $349 a month.
Visit GreenvilleNissan.com today.
Greenville Nissan, where we drive to serve.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Pirate fans, 2025 East Carolina football season tickets are on sale now and can be purchased for as little as $115. Head coach Blake Harrell wants you to be a part of his first full season as the Pirate coach as he builds momentum off of the 8-win season and the Military Bowl win over North Carolina State. Call 1-800-DIAL-ECU or go to ECUPirates.com today to get your 2025 season tickets.
What's happening?
Tell me what's happening. Every ECU fan's one stop for all things ECU athletics. This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Okay, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors, Thursday, day before opening day for East Carolina baseball. So we're having a lot of baseball discussion that will continue tomorrow. Bobby Harder will be in studio, as will Jonathan Wagner, expected to stop by in studio as well. Philip Pilkington alongside today. We just did our over-under picks and some other predictions. We'll get to our roster rundown here in a minute. Johnny Robertson, Mr. Stats, has a weird pitching stat for us. In his Pirate career, Jake Hunter has never given up a run, only allowed 2 hits with 0 walks, and struck out 13 during the 5th inning. He also adds Ethan Norby has only given up 1 hit and not allowed a run in the 6th. Ethan has a 1.17 ERA in innings 4 through 6. So there's your random pitching stat of the day. I guess if we have Jake Hunter and Ethan Norby in the middle innings, Philip, ECU's in pretty good shape.
I guess so. Johnny, I love the stat. If you could text that to AK, that would be great.
Yeah, make sure he has that information to employ. Our final over-under pick, Brady Thomas, Hoist the Colors intern, wants to know the over-under for the amount of times he gets sunned by Cliff Godwin. So I guess he's saying, like, how many times is Cliff going to be like, come on, son? I feel like Cliff's not really a sun type of guy.
No,
he's more like glare through your soul type of guy. So how many times? I tell you what, how many times will Cliff Godwin give Brady Thomas the glare this season? Over under 1.5, because it's going to happen once. It's just a matter of does it happen a second time.
Over. It happens once. We think Brady's learned. He's gone about a month and a half, and then he messes up. He's a little groggy one night. Stayed out too late the night before, and he asks a bad question and gets the stare of death from Cliff Godwin.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun.
I think over as well, because this year, Philip, I'm going to be covering less games due to having 2 kids. My 3-year-old son loves to go to the park and just mess around. So I'll be taking him out there more so as a dad, which means more opportunities for Brady and our other interns to get the glare, and they're going to get it at least a few times.
Am I going to meet the other interns? You claim you have like 6. I've met 4. I had met 3 until the basketball game the other night. You finally brought one of the new ones, but she had just started. But you claim there's like 3 other guys who started in the fall that I've still never met.
Yep, you haven't met Javon, you haven't met Chris, and I think one other one. Chris just wrote an article on the site. Javon, you have not met, and I'll have to introduce you to the other one as well. So we'll work on it. There's a lot of them out there.
Fake interns.
Philip.
I don't think they really exist. I think you're lying.
Maybe they are fake. Anything. I just say I'm sending my intern. That way I don't have to show up, even if my interns show up or
Brady,
don't.
Chance, or James will show up. I know those 3 will show up.
Oh, for sure. There's no doubt. They'll be there. All right. Our roster rundown. Let's get back into that, Philip. We are on number 34, Bradley Zayak. So what we've been doing, if you haven't been following, and you're like, who is Bradley Zayak? He is a pitcher. He's number 34. We've been going down the roster in numerical order to try to introduce you to these gentlemen. I think 28 new players is the official number. There were more than 30 in the fall if you have moved on. Bradley Zayak, number 34 in your program, 6'3", 215-pound freshman right-hander from Chesapeake, Virginia, Grassfield High School. He's a name to remember because he's actually pitched pretty often in scrimmages this preseason, dating back to the fall. Good arm, consistently in that upper 80s to low 90s range, repeatable delivery, strike thrower. I think we'll see Bradley Zayak as one of many freshmen out of the bullpen this season for the Pirates. So number 34, Bradley Zayak. Number 35, Philip, is a guy that I think we're both interested in seeing. Michael Irby, redshirt freshman missed last season, redshirted, was kind of dealing with some I think an arm injury at one point. But either way, 6'3", 210, good changeup, strike thrower. Obviously, the older brother of Austin Irby, who is a freshman this year. So pretty cool. They're now both freshmen. I'm sure their parents really enjoy the opportunity to watch them both play this season out of Cox High School in Virginia Beach. He's a candidate, I would say, to maybe start on Sunday, although a bullpen role seems like a possibility as well. So Michael Irby, a name we should see on the mound pretty early this season.
I think he's one of those guys, if he does start early, it'll be kind of an opener because he's coming off that injury. But he's one of those guys, I think, even though he is a redshirt freshman, they trust from a maturity level to give him the ball. Hey, you're going to start the baseball game.
Rated the 32nd overall prospect in Virginia out of high school and the 10th best right-handed pitcher in the state, according to Perfect Game last year. Number 36 is Drew Downs. He was actually a former Vanderbilt commitment, outfielder, 6'3", 180, left-handed hitter. I think long-term, Drew Downs has really good upside. He can run. Would not shock me if at some point this year he makes a bid to play some outfield, but I think he still has some maturing to do from a physical perspective. But good frame, good swing, 6'3", 180. Anytime you're committed to Vanderbilt, you got to have some talent. He ended up flipping to ECU. He is originally from Cary, North Carolina, went to Pro 5 Baseball Academy. So was a really talented player, top 500 player out of high school. So would expect him to make an impact in time. Moving to number 41, Neil Griffin, out of Charlotte, North Carolina, Metrolina Christian Academy, 6 foot 172, hit 356 with 36 runs scored, 27 RBI, 13 steals, a home run, a triple, 8 doubles as a senior. Neil is 6 foot 172, so kind of a smaller infielder. He needs to continue to build up his mass, I would say. But the one thing I've noticed about Neil, not only can he play third base, shortstop, he's even played some corner outfielder. Really good glove, can pick it. He's made some web gems in practice. I think as his bat continues to progress, he could be a player in time for the Pirates, but probably more of a backup option to start the year. All right, number 42, Brad Pruitt, 6'3", 210, transfer from Oklahoma. I've seen him in scrimmages, Phillip, 92 to 94, hard slider, had a really good summer. Didn't pitch a ton as a freshman for Oklahoma, but he was actually summer teammates, with Dixon Williams in the New England League, and Dixon actually kind of recruited him here. So 6'3", 210, can spin it. I think he's a candidate to be kind of a top bullpen option, if not a starter. So Brad Pruitt, a name to remember this year.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that, we said it's not a matter of if guys come up, it's going to be who. I think he's definitely one of our who's, right? He's going to make it. It's just a matter, like you said, is he more of a bullpen? Is he more of a starter? He didn't see as many appearances as he wanted last year, but they had a pretty deep staff. So I'm excited to see him. We definitely see him opening weekend if I had to guess.
All right, we'll get through a few more here, and then we'll get to break. Dawson Kerr is a freshman, number 45, right-handed pitcher, 6'1", 220, out of Hagerstown, Maryland. Dealing with an injury right now, but he's kind of your mini sidearm slot type of right-hander, can throw from a lot of different angles. I would expect in time Dawson to make an impact, but right now I think he's on the shelf a little bit. Taylor Grubbs, transfer pitcher, number 47 from Liberty, 6 foot 210. Had a good fall. I have not seen him pitch this preseason, so I'm not sure if he's down right now, but he appeared in 16 games last season out of the pen for the Flames, 1-0, 6.00 earned run average, 1 save, 26 Ks, 12 walks over 27 innings last year. So a guy who has some experience, right-handed pitcher, pitches in the upper 80s to low 90s. I think you'll see him at some point as an experienced option out of the pen. And then lastly, for today, Sean Jenkins, number 48, Phillip. We've heard a lot about him. 6'3", 215, ranked number 4 nationally on the Baseball America incoming freshman list. He is your Saturday starter to begin with, and we'll find out this weekend what we can learn to expect from Sean Jenkins a little bit.
We'll see a lot of good things from him this year, but he's 17. So like I said, I don't think his inning volume will be as high as Zach Root or Trey Savage from a year ago, but by the time he becomes a sophomore or junior, he will be compared to Zach Root, Trey Savage, as well as some others. So guys, definitely the highest ceiling of anyone in the staff.
Sean Jenkins, number 48, he'll make his debut this weekend live. All right, we'll get a break in. When we come back, Bobby Harvard wants to know Philip's thoughts on the Four Nations last night. In our last segment, we'll get his take on that and more to wrap up the show. This is Hoist the Colors.
Ready to go for big savings? You've got the green light at Greenville Toyota with a new Corolla just $239 a month or new Tacoma only $349 a month. The green light savings event is on right now at Greenville Toyota.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Everybody loves Tiebreakers.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout Eastern North Carolina. Get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
Hey, grab me one too.
Your roof is a vital part of protecting your home and family from dangerous storms and hurricanes. At Assist Roofing, we install and maintain metal roofing that provides precise protection. Add value to your home while lowering utility costs with a fortified roof to last a lifetime. With 0% financing, grants, and Energy Star Green Roofing tax credit available, call us to schedule a free consultation so you can weather any storm with confidence.
Green is what you'll save during our Green Light Savings event at Greenville Toyota. Get a new Camry, $269 a month, or a new RAV4, $339 a month. When the green light is on, you save big at Greenville Toyota.
Everything you need to know in the world of ECU athletics. This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors, final segment here. Got a few minutes left. Bobby Harvard has a couple of questions. First off, he wants to know Philip Pilkington's thoughts on the Four Nations last night. Last night's overtime was some exciting hockey. So Canada defeated Sweden in the game last night, 4-3. Philip, your thought on that? And I know you touched on earlier, U.S. playing tonight. Finland, correct?
Yeah, they play the Finnish tonight. Yeah, so Bobby, obviously you and I'll talk a little about it more tomorrow off the air. But I was excited. I was a little worried that it was going to be kind of all-star-esque, not really see, much motive to hit each other. I mean, obviously it wasn't the same as a live NHL game. I'm not going to lie, it was on the second TV for me. Started with NASCAR qualifying on the big one and that one, and then when the Duke game came on, I actually kicked the Four Nations game, so I didn't watch it maybe as much as some did, but it does seem like guys are out there and they really want to play and represent their country, so I'm excited for the entirety of this tournament. I think it's a great idea.
You got United States taking on Finland tonight, and then they will take on Canada February 15th, so Saturday at 8 p.m., and the U.S. will conclude a round-robin play with Sweden on Monday. All right. He also wants to know what happened to Temple last night. They lost at home to the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. Helps ECU in the standings. Terrible loss for Temple. Yeah, so Temple was 10-0 at home, Philip, and they lost to Tulsa at home. They fought a 10-1 in the Leah Corus Center. That brings Temple back to ECU in the standings at 6-6. So you kind of have a log jam in the middle with the Owls, and also I think South Florida's in there at 5 and 6. But it just goes to show, man, in the American Athletic Conference, anything can happen because really I don't think anybody's that good.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. As bad as Wichita, Tulsa, and Charlotte are, I think everybody else is better, but they're not so good that they're unbeatable. So, yeah, hey, hit your shots. Don't fool around, and you'll be victorious. They didn't hit their shots. They didn't look great. Lost game.
I just went to theamerican.org to get an updated look at the standings, Philip, and I was greeted with tickets are on sale now to the conference tournament inside Dickies Arena. If ECU finishes in the top 4 and gets a double bye, I will be broadcasting live from Dickies Arena for the conference tournament. How about that?
Let's go. I'm excited. Come on, Pirates. Give us that.
I'm going to say there's very little chance it occurs, but hey, Pirates right now, a game and a half out of first. ECU is tied for 6th with Temple, 6 and 6. South Florida at 5 and 6 in 8th place behind the Owls and Pirates. Tulane, Florida Atlantic tied for 4th at 7 and 4. All right, that'll do it for today's show. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, all the questions and comments. Kaysen Ramaley is also in the chat saying he will go to the conference tournament. By the way, check out Kaysen's Carolina Curveball podcast. That will start up tonight. I believe their debut episode, 9 o'clock, as they're going to cover everybody across the Carolinas, including ECU. Appreciate Philip Pilkington for participating in our over-unders. We'll be back tomorrow. The plan is to be going at 12 noon as usual. We'll see if there are any changes to the baseball schedules. Stay tuned for that because, of course, we'll have you covered on 94.3 The Game for the baseball broadcast. But we'll see you tomorrow, 12 noon, leading into the season opener for Pirate Baseball.
This has been Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo. Tune in weekdays at noon for all things